This is going to be heckin' quick indeed, but alas, no ley line.
No ley line. We're going to be playing some good old-fashioned Magic. And so this is one thing I did see or remember from the World Championship with John Emmanuel Duprat. He ended up siding out the ley line bindings up against the heavy interaction deck.
Yes.
This is about as heavy as it gets as far as interaction goes. So we'll see if that post-board configuration, if the deck contains 0 of that card.
Heartfire Hero, Ember Heart Challenger. Gonna be knocking heads there up against the Spyglass Siren, so 1 point of damage extra getting through to Scott McNamara.
So there is the Challenger getting in there. If the Challenger can ever leave or can ever stay on the battlefield, that is ideal. And Scott will basically have to kill it now if he had it. And, oh, okay, I was like, you definitely don't wait if it was a removal spell. But this is great. You know, this is the best time to be drowning during upkeep because then it will not untap next turn. And, you know, the Snakeskin Veil is possible, but you want to make sure and get the full value off the Drowner as well.
Yeah, definitely do. So Floodpit's Drowner takes care of the Ember Heart Challenger for now. Nothing to target it with that turn for Nicholas Odenheimer. So Scott McNamara gets to play Soulstone Sanctuary for turn and get him for 2 points of damage with the Drowner.
Yeah, and now has the option of drowning away this Challenger, living up 1 mana, or, you know, maybe if you have another Drowner, you just kind of do this again and start playing this tempo game. You know, I was really impressed with this Scott McNamara deck. I believe we covered him like around 5 or 6.
I think so, yeah.
And I am just like, this deck looks amazing to me. I just thought it was a perfect combination, so really nice to see him make it this far. We haven't seen as much Nicholas on camera, but he's been playing type Magic as well. But yeah, Scott just has not really made any mistakes that I've seen, played some really tight Magic, has a really good deck list, and has been very impressive to me.
I think Nicholas was just killing everyone too quickly. We're like, hey, you want to come do a feat? Oh, you're done.
Yeah, we're like, hey, Nicholas, we want to get you on the feature. Oh, you're already done. Okay, excellent. Okay, never mind. Yep.
Sneak of the Beast, finding yet another little Heartfire Hero. As well as, what's that, a land? No, what is that?
That is a, that's Copperline Gorge and the hero. So one thing we want to keep in mind here, the Nowhere to Run has a lot of really good applications in this matchup. There's 4 Snakeskin Veils in Nicholas's main deck, and those do get shut off with the ability from Nowhere to Run. So Nowhere to Run was kind of the reason why Snakeskin Veil kind of fell off the face of the earth, but Nicholas is like, well, you got to draw it. You got to play against it. I'm still going to play it. It's a good card.
Up against everyone else who's not playing Nowhere to Run, it's pretty darn good. So.
Yep. Absolutely. Very, very strong card. So here is This Town Ain't Big Enough, seeing what we're going to bounce. The one thing that is pretty brutal for Scott right now is that Underground River. You know, it'll add up as far as damage goes here with having to take a pain every single time.
No pain lands, no gain lands, man.
That's what they say.
Well, there are no gain lands in any of these decks, I don't think.
Nope, definitely not.
Nobody likes gaining alive.
No gains here.
Feels bad, man. So we have our Questing Druid on the board. We have the Floodpit's Drowner and the Heartfire Hero taking care of each other there. And the Suriname Hoss is back to Scott McNamara, who's going to cast a Spyglass Siren, get another map token.
Has the... okay, nice. Here is Nowhere to Run. So that negates quite a few cards here from Nicholas.
So keeping the board clear is the name of the game here for Scott McNamara. And he's doing a pretty good job himself of applying pressure, you know, just running these vigilant creatures into Nicholas, who's quite happy to take the trades.
Yep, absolutely. But here is kind of the best card. We'll see if Nicholas has a land. I'm not sure he played a land already. I don't think so.
That's a 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep, it is going to be exiled. So we either did already play a land and I missed it, or didn't have land number 5 for the Slick Shot show-off here. So not ideal there, as you do miss out on a little bit of value. But if this card were to live, Nicholas will be feeling okay. But if Scott has another removal spell, which there are so many, because even land Fear of Isolation is a removal spell with Nowhere to Run in play. So things not looking great for the Gruul side.
One thing I do like, though, is in the lands there, you see one of the copies of Restless Ridgeline. So if you know, push comes to shove and you just need to use that creature to get the job done, Scott's at 8, so, you know, not that far off from dead.
Yep, absolutely.
But for now, the problem on board here is the Emberheart Challenger, as we reveal a cut down on top of the library.
And big props to both of these players. Both of these players are, what, 15-2 at the moment? Like,
Yeah.
that is just such
Nuts.
an incredibly great record. And both of them got to be extremely proud of their performance here.
They get to play on the Pro Tour.
Yep.
They do well enough on that. They get to go to Worlds. This could be an excellent year for both of these gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Spyglass Siren jumping in for 2. That cut down sent to the bin as Emberheart Challenger is out of range at this point.
Yeah, cut down not doing too much as it stands. Good against future cards, but all right.
We're turning inside out. Is that GG?
Well, we'll see what we have here. No matter what, you get the card off Emberheart
7.
Challenger, but this really feels like a this town ain't big enough from Scott, and there's kind of no point in firing it off right now. You want to let Nicholas kind of go all in on it.
Go for it, as it were.
Because right now this is 7, so you might just say if you're Scott, like, you know, no blocks because I want you to do one more spell because it's pretty tempting to go for the win.
Yeah.
That's kind of the best spell to
Nice,
go for because you're not investing another target on it while still committing or presenting a lethal threat.
Yep. So that'll resolve. So this lethal threat is, very lethal, but as you mentioned, this time big enough will target our little friend over here. So Emberheart Challenger is going to go bye-bye.
Yep.
Back to hand.
And brutal stuff. You revealed the Snakeskin Veil. You're like, oh, well, this is perfect. I gotcha. But Nowhere to Run would still be on the battlefield as it resolves. And then This Town Ain't Big Enough would still bounce it. So, wow, Nowhere to Run just prevented Scott from losing this game on the spot. Just that extra clause.
So be sure to read all of your opponent's cards, friends.
I walked into Nowhere to Run before and had to immediately concede, you know.
Well, it's called Nowhere to Run, not Nowhere to Walk.
Yeah. I walked right into the next match. That's true. Walked right into it, as they say.
Limped, more like. Oh, boy. So redeploying now the Emberheart Challenger after the Questing Druid to get the counter on that guy. So 2 critters down on the board here for Nicholas. This Dimir deck doesn't really do well at, like, mass removal. Kind of just has to hope for the best and chip away at the resources, but so far, Scott's been doing an alright job with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nicholas still getting busy here, knows about the Nowhere to Run. And we'll see what the plan is here. Is this just enduring curiosity? There's a lot of things Nicholas can have to just win the game on the spot here. And he's giving that, like, sigh look like, yeah, that's pretty good. But I kind of have a feeling that's posturing. Be like, yeah, you got me. Okay, you're dead.
Well, 2 cards in hand. Let's see what he's got. He's going to tap 2. Overprotect.
Yeah. There's some nice acting there from Nicholas.
Oh! Perfect rip off the top there. That Challenger just absolutely beat down on Scott McNamara.
I wonder if we're going to Pro Tour Hollywood with that impressive acting from Nicholas there. That heavy sigh when it gets cast, like, yep, you got it. And then here we go. Gets the win. I love it. I love it.
That was sweet. Alrighty, sideboard time now. Scott McNamara, what are we doing from his side of things?
Okay, so from Scott's side, the cut downs look pretty good. The Gix commands look good. Shieldred and Preacher are the cards that I would be considering straight away. I'd probably be looking to get rid of the Kaitos immediately. Kaitos are not very good in this matchup. Hopeless Nightmare looks pretty bad, as well as the Enduring Curiosity is not really ideal. And that's the thing with the traditional versions of Dimir up against Gruul. You usually do take out some of your top end, and your Kaitos end up being a lot worse. So this is going to be able to transition into that more new version of Dimir enchantments here post-board. And then on the flip side from Nicholas, let's see, you can... I would think you want to take out Snakeskin Veil because it is basically just a 1-mana put a 1/1 counter on something. Paw Patch Recruit seems like a slam dunk to me as there's a lot of interaction.
Yep.
And I'd be pretty interested in the Innkeeper's Talents and Screaming Nemesis, depending on if Nicholas wants to take out Leylines. Like, I could see a world where Nicholas takes out Snakeskin Veil, 4 Leylines to take out those 8 cards, brings in Innkeeper's Talent, Screaming Nemesis, and the 4 Paw Patch Recruit. Definitely one way to go, but I would be, I wouldn't be that shocked if I was wrong about not taking out Leylines here.
Alrighty. On the other side of things from Scott's list, any consideration for the Preacher of the Schisms?
Yeah, I would bring those in.
Okay, yeah,
Yep,
cool.
yep, absolutely. Preachers, Gicks, cut downs,
Yeah.
and the Shieldreds. Yep.
Basically
I would
all the
think I would bring 'em.
blackguards except for Duress.
I do think Preacher is a lot worse against this kind of more all-in version, but I think it's still good enough that you want to have it, as there's going to be some just, not so great cards in your deck already with Kaito.
Let's take a quick look at how these players got here. We had Nicholas Odenheimer, Stephen Rorabau, Zhao Li, Greypain, Eli Swafford, Ray Zhang, Scott McNamara, and Victor Moy kick things off here for us in our top 8, and it has whittled down to our Gruul Aggro and Demir Enchantments players.
Yeah, and pretty cool. We see 3 Gruul decks, but really it is 2 Gruul mid-range style of deck, and then this one all-in leyline thing. So that's our only, copies here, redundant decks here in the top 8. The rest, 5 other different decks, great metagame, and something that you don't see too often and is really, really cool. This is the number 1 and the number 2 seed. These 2 players have dominated this event, which is truly impressive. Both of them have got to be very proud of their accomplishments, as well as the rest of these 8 players. So,
Good job, fellas.
really cool stuff here in Atlanta.
Very cool indeed. Looks like players are almost done with their sideboarding, shuffling up. They're going to pick their openers. So, Scott is now on the play. What is his ideal opening hand?
I would say it begins with one of your 1-drops, either Spyglass Siren or Storm Chaser's Talent, and then you just have 2 removal spells and still the ability to, play and have a good curve. Start getting pressure, back it up with a removal spell. That's the way you beat Gruul. And, I even remember at the end of yesterday, at the end of the day, Scott McNamara had, the absolute stone cold nut draw and still lost against our mono white gamer, who must have not ended up having that good of a day.
Yeah, unfortunate there for any mono white fans, but still great to see the deck do that well. I mean, undefeated for a good portion of yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, huge moment for these players considering their mulligans. Nicholas is going to take a mulligan, and he looked. You never look. Never look.
Yeah, no, I
had a close one.
No, in any game of Magic, just shuffle it and be done with it. Don't
there
look.
You go. Yeah,
it's just better not knowing.
I look every time.
Do you date it?
I can't not. The key is to look, but don't let it affect you.
Okay, fine. That's fair. I still disagree with it, but I see the logic. Alrighty, let's see if we can get a decent, I assume, 6-card hand here for Nicholas. Yep. Hopefully this is not a Malta 5. But, a Malta 5 isn't the worst with a deck that likes to go this quickly.
Yep, absolutely. It is a deck that once you get down to 5 and 4, especially in the post-board games, if you are not having Leyline in the deck, which I would assume, I don't think they're there, then you very much need a critical mass of threats to get it going.
Cacophony's Scamp, as well as Storm Chaser's Talent, hit the board for both players on turn 1. And turn passes back now to Scott McNamara. What turn 2 play do we have? A Duress. Oh, okay. Let's take a look and see. We got a couple of mice. We've got our Questing Druid, and we've got the Monstrous Rage.
So, doesn't have a ton of targets here. Gonna take the Innkeeper's Talent or the Monstrous Rage here. I would think you probably take the Innkeeper's Talent if we get a land. But the one thing, Nicholas doesn't have another land here.
Oh, wow.
So I think the Innkeeper's Talent is still the scariest card for Demir. Yeah, I when you're already on a mulligan,
yeah, fair.
I think I'm here for it. I like it because no matter what, even if you brick, you still have a play.
Yeah.
And more than likely kept a hand without one of those 2-drops, so probably drew another 2-drop, which is not ideal.
Yeah, also. All right, Monstrous Rage. The thing that can affect immediately if a second land isn't found, so that is gonna get ditched. And this little otter friend is gonna swing in here for 2.
God, this card has just really been the card of the weekend.
Storm Chasers?
Storm Chasers Talent. It just popped up in so many different decks, and it really seemed like that niche card. Yeah, had it the whole time. But one thing he doesn't have is green mana right now. Does need a mountain. So, that was a great draw, of course. But Nice defensive play there from Scott. Didn't cut down the Cacophony Scamped. Waited for the better target there, the Emberheart Challenger.
Yep, that card just won the game for Nicholas so cleanly in the last game. So now we are going... Ooh, hi, kitty cat. Now we're going to explore with the map token. Make this little otter a little bigger.
And we'll see. That could easily mean Scott does not have land 3 as well. Sacked that map before it even came into play. And, well, I was going to say, now he definitely has lands. You don't keep that on top if...
if you can't cost it for...
We're going to see a reef come into play tapped here, I imagine. Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Turn passes back here to Nicholas Odenheimer. 2 lands to work with. Finds the 3rd.
Not bad. Not bad.
Not too shabby. Was that runner land?
That was runner.
Okay.
No, runner. And I think they're both joking about that. And it's like, yeah, I had it. No big deal. So Innkeeper's Talent is online as well as this. So great play here.
Ooh, so
Heartfire Hero, putting a counter there, getting it out of cut down range, and getting in there with the Cacophony Scamp. Really, really excellent here.
Nice. All right. Things looking great here for Nicholas Odenheimer. Kept a one-lander and wasn't punished. So
yeah,
he's going to be thanking the magic gods for that.
And most importantly, Scott McNamara doesn't have his kind of best play available. Just land 4, attack with the otter, get in there.
Yeah.
You know, now if Scott plays a land 4, Nicholas is forced to block and won't really allow the bluff or anything to happen here because you don't want Scott to draw a card here.
Not even going to go for it. Just leaving the otter back, leaving 4 mana up, and the turn passes back now to Nicholas. We're going to level up that class and give ward to our little friends with counters on them.
Yeah, gets wards, going to boost this thing up to a 5-power creature already if Scott doesn't deal with
there's
anything.
more. Doubles. Woohoo!
Yep. And now, you know, Nowhere to Run does cancel the ward as well, but with not having it, and nice defensive play there from Nicholas. Doesn't want to attack that 5/5 into the double block there. That would scream to me if I'm Scott McNamara that there is no more pump spell. We didn't top deck Monstrous Rage or anything. But I guess we've been drawing land, so Scott's got to have some pretty good, close to perfect information. We're going to see that Seek the Beast at end step for Nicholas, though.
Definitely will. Tapping 2 mana here. Scott McNamara looking to tie up this finals here of Magic Spotlight Foundations, the first of its kind, and we're going to see this poor little mouse, oh, sadness, get sent back with this tiny big enough, as well as the Storm Chaser's Talent, which will hit the board once again.
Huge.
Leave a friend behind, and now we get to swing in with 2 critters and draw 2 cards. This is looking very good all of a sudden for Scott.
And take 8. I mean, the otter really just kind of gets out of hand, and here's why I love this kind of configuration that Scott and the rest of his team came up with. Like, sure, you got the Otter's power, but sometimes it's tough to close the game. But when you got an Enduring Curiosity, it becomes pretty trivial.
Yep. Porpatch Recruit and Monstrous Rage exiled off of Seek the Beast. Where to from here for Nicholas?
Yeah, a little unfortunate that there's no haste creature to be able to take advantage of that Monstrous Rage.
Was sweet. Do you just play it anyway, just to get the counter on the guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because then he's out of cut down range, yeah?
Yep. You want to play that. You can boost up the Innkeeper's Talent, put something on the paw patch. The creatures are still looking big, but if Scott really has any follow-up here, it's going to be really good. And Scott can have a follow-up of land 6 to be able to level up the Storm Chaser's Talent and then just bring back... All right, let's head to the 3rd game here. Nope. Nobody ever survives a Gix command when you're ahead on board.
Oh, that hurt. Okay, so big creatures get bigger. 1 creature dies because the little mouse was big enough to survive, but that was a painful Gix's command.
Wow, this is looking like it might be one of the fastest finals we have ever seen. We're only 18 minutes into it.
I'm cool
going
with
to
that.
going to game 3 already. So really cool stuff.
The night is young. These fellas can go out and celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. So now will be another little sub game here, and we'll see what Nicholas does, even as he's shuffling and getting ready for game 3.
Are we Scheherazading?
What?
You said sub-game. Oh,
Oh,
Shahrazadi?
sure. No, I'm saying if he like ends up shuffling his whole sideboard in and takes him out, because something that I could see Nicholas doing, even though I bet ley lines were out for that game, bringing them back in for game 3 when you're on the play, when you have the ability to win on turn 2, like could be. I could still see them staying out for the pop patch for the innkeepers, which we saw, as well as other removal spells.
Well, friends, once again, we just want to say thank you so much for watching this weekend, for giving us your eyeballs, tuning in to the SCG Con, the Spotlight series here, the first of its kind for Foundations. It's been an excellent event all around, so huge shout out to the organizers, to all the players, to all the judges and the staff, and a big thank you to our sponsors as well, to Beckett and Dragon Shield, who have sponsored all of the SG Cons this year, which is just amazing. So be sure to go check them out. Go get your Dragon Shields from SCG's websites, and, you know, go sell your singles and do all the other fun stuff that you want to do with your Magic cards over there.
Yeah, I saw Dragon Shield was one of the booths over there at this SCG Con as well. Looked like they had a really nice booth, so can imagine that they're going to have future booths at these events. So yeah, pick up some sleeves that have been around the industry forever. You know, I mean, I've used Dragon Shields, you know, back in the 1990s. I know people were still alive back then.
What? That's a statement. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Dragon Shield was some of the first sleeves that I bought when I got into Magic, and like I just remember great shuffle feel. You know, they felt excellent. So.
Exactly. Phenomenal stuff.
Go check them out. And if you like what you feel, give them your dollars. Players shuffling up here, having a good chuckle. Great time about it. Both players have had excellent showings at this event, and I'm looking forward to seeing them playing in Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. I love following the storylines when we commentate the regional championships, and now when there's this extra avenue here to be able to see, you know, some of these players that are really, really good Magic players, and they can convert it into a deep run at the Pro Tour, and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, well, you're on the train. You're a pro.
Yeah.
You know?
Choo-choo.
Yep. Ray Zhang being one of them.
Yeah.
They did really well at one of the open events at
Super Magicon, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know, translated into just being on the train.
Paw Patch Recruit going to kick things off here for Nicholas. I'm guessing no ley lines in this list in game number 3. Cut Down takes care of our poor Widow Wabbit, though, and Ember Challenger will be the follow-up here on turn 2.
Okay, good start here from both players, having the removal spell to deal with the very annoying Paw Patch Recruit.
What do you mean? He's just doing his job. Flipper's Drowner's going to hit the board and say, night-night, little Ember Challenger. Possibly sending that away if Scott feels like there's no other way to deal with it.
And it's pretty exciting. Both players' draws are really strong.
Yeah,
if Nicholas doesn't have a Seek the Beast here, maybe we did stumble a little bit. But the one thing about Nicholas's hand, it could just be full of pump spells because there's a lot more spells than creatures in his version of Gruul.
I will say that Seek the Beast kind of ties the deck together so nicely.
It really does.
In all of the other Gruul decks as well, and, you know, even in Ray Zhang's Team of Otters, just being able to dig through and find the pieces of interaction or the combo that you need. Storm Chaser's talent here, hitting the board for Scott McNamara. It's been a great card to see in play.
It started with like, oh, this was a sideboard card, or it was a 2 of in the main, 2 of in the board, but we're starting to see it just as a 4 of, and it makes so much sense. You know, it's a 3-for-1 if you do it right.
Yeah. Speaking of, we're going to see Seek the Beast on end step and find a Cacophony Scamp. Oh, nice. And an Innkeeper's Talent.
Beautiful. So this is the opportunity where maybe Scott is going to try to kill this challenger right now with the Drowner. Drown it away.
Shuffle it.
I like it. The Innkeeper's Talent just represents so much trouble with that repeatable way to get the top card of your library every single turn. You're essentially drawing 2.
Sweet. I mean, that's what we saw in game 1, you know, just this constant targeting on this Emberheart Challenger. Like, I wasn't super high up on it initially.
Yeah.
You know, out of the mice, you know, I was like, yeah, Manifold Mouse, so much cooler. But yeah, just being able to get through the top of the deck when it gets into the mid and late games, it's invaluable.
Yeah, it is interesting. You really can't play Manifold Mouse in this list.
No.
As there's not as many mice, but that is an incredible card. And, you know, Nicholas was just like, no, thank you.
Yep.
I will take my good old-fashioned, tried-and-true slick shot show off.
Oh, yeah, no. The Boris mice, you know, they keep the mice over there.
Yeah.
But, you know, Emberheart Challenger translates nicely between the two the color pairs.
I mean, that's just one of the best creature, if not the best creature in Standard, you know. Emberheart Challenger is incredible.
Ah, Corey, you made me laugh.
It's true. It is.
Looks like we are going to attacks. Our little friendly otter guy. I'll chip in for a point of damage here. And the follow-up, what do we have? We have a reef. Enters tapped. And the turning the paws back. Yes, that's right.
Another drowner.
Nice.
Pays the ward.
Yep.
So now if there's something like a overprotect. Oh.
No touchy. No touchy. Overprotect keeps this little guy quite large, in fact.
Yeah.
And,
it's an attack for 6.
It's turning sideways.
This,
Trample.
this
Hexproof,
could be the
indestructible.
last turn. This could be the last turn of the game.
else do we
There
have?
is a turn inside out. That's 6. Turn inside out makes 9. That's trampling for 8. You can sacrifice it for 9 more. That's 17.
Is that one off?
I think that's one off as far as my quick math goes, but I could be wrong.
What happened? Did they take the damage?
Maybe there
Oh,
was
there
a-
we go. Okay.
Okay, I was like,
was
maybe
like,
there was a life
huh?
total discrepancy. Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
all right, all right.
Woo!
So down to 1.
Okay. Cool.
No big deal.
No problem. No panic. Nothing. Nope. This is
But
okay.
I mean, without a follow-up here, I'm pretty curious if we needed to get rid of that. There is going to be a Manifest Dread.
Yes.
That should be coming out.
Yeah, because of Turn Inside Out.
Okay, so here it is.
Okay.
There's
Is that
the
a Sellsword?
Sellsword.
Yeah.
Yep, won't be flipping that one up. Okay, but, 1 is not 0. Believe it or not. Double check my math on that, chat.
Scott hanging on by a thread here. Oh boy, Nicholas, I feel you, man.
Wow. Cacophony Scamp being able to just fling itself
Close, yeah.
is so incredible.
Scott has the creature land to animate. Needs some way to deal with any follow-up here, though. It's a 4 mana there to do it. Got the Soulstone Sanctuary now as well. Has a little otter. It's
And-
pretty intense.
Yeah, this is really intense. Now, Scott has the defenses up, so can animate that Sanctuary if Nicholas does nothing. We'll see what the follow-up is. This game is definitely not over if Nicholas doesn't have that great of a follow-up besides this Druid.
So Druid to kick things off. There's a 1 mana spell incoming. It's
Oof.
the Heartfire hero. So, okay, yeah. If that somehow explodes, that is
Yeah.
GG.
Yeah, and I like not targeting the Heartfire hero. You want it to be where when you attack, it either deals 1 or it dies.
Or it dies, yeah.
And if you boost it up too big, it's just going to get chump blocked over and over. So really heads up play there from Nicholas. Drowner on the Heartfire hero is basically what I think you have to do. You gotta tuck it away, otherwise killing it, you will die.
This little guy is pretty volatile, so.
Yep. Okay, looks like he did put the counter on the Innkeeper. Reasonable as well.
Wait, Innkeeper?
Or on the Heartfire hero,
Oh, yeah,
excuse
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yep. And then Questing Druid got the counter for
Right,
casting
gotcha,
it.
gotcha. Okay. So 3 attackers eventually, somehow. Still gotta wait for that stun counter to come off, though. We've got the Floodpits Drowner. There's 2 copies of the Knight, the Callous Sellsword.
Yep, and one of
still
them
nice
is
as well.
that. So,
Yeah.
the other one is a one-outer here.
Yeah. So one of them is the more for the dread creature at the moment. This town is
Yep.
big enough, targeting our Drowner and Storm Chaser's Talent. So
Okay.
that's another creature on the board and another way to shut down an attacker.
And most importantly, a prowess trigger to trade there.
Yeah.
And I do believe one of those lands is a creature land for Nicholas. One of them's a
should
ridge
be a
line, I
ridge line,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. Tough to tell. They're all look quite similar here.
Storm Chaser's Talent, another Otter. We know about the Drowner in hand.
And Nicholas is hellbent, so this is really close.
Jeez.
We know about the Drowner, yeah, and maybe if there's another a land you could have bought back that this town ain't big enough. You know, the value from Scott will happen every turn, but one good draw from Nicholas here will mean that he is the champion here of our very first inaugural Spotlight event. That's a great draw.
Oh, man. Going wide, getting counters, Paw Patch Recruit.
You know, and that could have been a ley line of resonance, you know, if that was left in. So this transformational sideboard plan from Nicholas, looking nice.
Let's bring your child to work day here for this Paw Patch Recruit. So plenty of critters on the board now. This Drowner is going to do its best to try and keep these creatures from attacking. Has to pay the ward as well because of Chapter 2.
Yep.
No Noita runs out at the moment, so that is in effect.
And now this is really tough. The one card Scott is thinking is, can Gix Command get me out of it again?
So 4 potential attackers next turn if we don't have anything here for Scott.
So Gix Command, I think, is the best draw that Scott can find. And the only modes that he can really do is put counters on Drowner and then destroy the creatures with power 2 or less.
Yeah.
Because you can't let that Heartfire hero get sacrificed. So that's like the only thing that I would think keeps him in it. Otherwise, it's a duress.
That's it. That is going to do it. Nicholas Odenheimer is our Spotlight Foundations champion. Look at his face. Congratulations, Nicholas. Amazing stuff indeed. Brought the sweetest, cruelest to the table and just ran rampant with it. So,
absolutely.
Bravo, sir.
We didn't have Nicholas on the camera matches for the top 8. I walked over. He turned 2 his opponent once. He turned 3 him the next game. Like, we're hearing the chants here from him, and that is super exciting. Big congrats and big congratulations to Scott McNamara as well. Played really well and had a great finish too. So happy for both of them.
Both players had excellent lists here this weekend. Really, really prepared well, understood what they had to bring to the competition this weekend. And I can't wait to see what they do in Chicago. And congratulations as well to the top 8. We're going to see you guys in Chicago